This presentation provides a comprehensive tutorial for navigating the UA library databases and search engines. As needed, you may pause the video and focus on finding a particular source type, or try following the steps shown here. You can also have a web browser window or tab open as you move forward in the presentation. Before diving into research, you should consider what is involved with studying and reviewing academic sources. I'll give you a brief review of academic thinking and writing. Academic thinking and writing involves investigation of research-worthy questions, building on careful study, reading widely, searching for evidence, close study of examples, especially similarities and differences, which is a part of analysis. Analysis and evaluation of evidence. Thinking logically. Developing a deeper understanding through critical thinking. And disciplinary approaches to different topics.
So, you want to start on that big research paper. But if you're looking for all the best info, where do you turn? Should you take advantage of library resources or stick to searching the web? And what difference does it make anyway? Search engines are handy, fast, and easy. They're great for finding general information and getting up-to-the-minute details on current topics, but they also have their drawbacks. You're stuck skimming the surface while mountains of info remain buried or locked behind paywalls. And what about the info you do find? Doing research like this, you're on your own, surrounded by sources you can't always trust and facts you can't always verify. Sure, you can find great information, but you'll have to double-check every fact and investigate every source. In a situation like this, one can only turn to the library. The library gives you easy access to a huge range of academic resources, with a giant selection of print, electronic, and digital sources that you won't find just searching online, all of which are verified, paid for, and ready to use free of charge. And don't forget the library's secret weapon. Librarians are there to help you find appropriate resources in the library and on the web, because there's nothing wrong with using a search engine as part of your research. But don't stop there. There are tools just waiting to be used and people ready to help. So take advantage and start getting the info you need from a source you can trust.
Now let's look at some basic Boolean search terms.
Sometimes it seems like the databases are speaking a different language. You type in your terms and all kinds of random gibberish comes out the other side. Maybe there's 1 or 2 articles in there, but there must be a better way to narrow things down. There is. It's called Boolean logic, and you only need to learn 3 little words: and, or, not. Using these 3 words can help the database better understand what you're looking for and pinpoint the perfect articles for your paper. And. Basically, with and, every article the database finds must have both of your terms. It makes the pool smaller. So if you think in terms of a Venn diagram, and gets everything in the middle. So if we're looking for blue and red, we would get purple. Or. So or means that all the articles must have at least one of the terms. It's both circles in the diagram. Blue or red gets us blue, red, and purple. Not is the most powerful. It'll knock out everything with that word. So search for blue, not red, gets only blue. No red, no purple. Not is the most useful when the database keeps spitting the same irrelevant type of articles back at you, like if you're looking for short-term effects and keep getting stuff on short-term memory. The best way to use these is to combine them together. Remember when you had math problems with parentheses? You did the stuff inside the parentheses first? Boolean works the same way. So you can use similar terms with or to make the circles really big, and then combine them with and to narrow it down. So we have blue or cerulean or aqua or turquoise, and red or burgundy or cerise or vermilion, which will get you articles about violet and purple and lavender. For a real-life example, let's say your thesis is people who use social media are more awkward in person. First, we'll limit our results to 2009 and only articles that are peer-reviewed. Then we'll do an OR search for social media or online social networks or Facebook or Twitter, where we get over 3,000 results. Next, we'll do another search for interpersonal relationships or interpersonal interaction or face-to-face or friendship or relationship quality and get over 30,000 results. Both of those searches are too many articles to read, but if we combine them with and, we only get about 300 or so. And all of the articles look pretty relevant, but you still don't have to read all of them.
Now we'll build on this by examining some other strategies for effective web searches.
Today's search engines have us trained to type anything we want into a search box and take the gamble that any of the thousands of results will be what we need. While that may work for simple searches, when it comes to a research topic or in-depth study, a savvier searcher needs to develop better methods for uncovering scholarly information. Throughout this tutorial, you will learn how to identify key concepts in a search topic, generate alternate ways to search those key concepts for more comprehensive search results, and combine multiple Boolean operators and or using parentheses to ensure relevant results. Computers and the web have made research much more efficient, yet the computer is still considered a literal beast. The computer finds only what you type into it, regardless if that is what you're looking for. So while you can break up your search using the three main Boolean operators, and, or, and not, they are only as helpful as the key concepts that you use to begin with. For a refresher on how these operators can be used in a search, click the link provided. Looking at a research topic or thesis statement, it can be tricky to figure out which words to pull for your search and which are best left out. If done incorrectly, you'll either end up with way too many results to sort through, or nothing at all. Say your research topic focuses on ways to improve the health of elementary school children within the school systems. You craft a thesis statement which looks like this. But how do you turn this lengthy thesis into relevant search terms? The main key concepts to pull from this thesis would be elementary school children, sugar consumption, and healthy alternatives. Searching for the first two key concepts in the Academic Search Elite database returns several results that all seem relevant to the topic and thesis statement. You can start off with these results, but remember you can still use those handy Boolean operators to expand or narrow your search. Now you might be wondering, why would I want to use more than one search when these results seem fine? Well, what if you only applied to one college, or interviewed for one job? You'd be limiting yourself to all the other possibilities out there. The same goes for only trying one or two key concepts for a search. You'd be missing out on some great sources in the process. So just like Goldilocks, you have to work through too much and not enough to find what's just right for your research. Let's look at that thesis statement again. What are some different ways to search for elementary schools? These are known as alternate expressions. They can replace wordy sentences, help eliminate unnecessary wording, and pinpoint key concepts while retrieving new results. By adding alternate expressions and adjusting the Boolean operators to match, you can control and refine your results all in one search. Using one Boolean operator is helpful when you are searching for two different key concepts, but it's important to know how to combine multiple operators in the same search and still get the results you want. If you are using the same operator multiple times, you can simply connect additional key concepts with that operator to your search. But when connecting Boolean operators to multiple key concepts, it's best not to use more than 4 of each to ensure accurate results. You can type a complete search using multiple Boolean operators in a basic search engine or database search box. It allows you to bypass having to fill in the advanced search fields, and lets you more easily see the order of your search terms. However, if you combine the and or operators in one search, you might start to notice that the results don't always come out the way you expect. To fix this, use parentheses to group key concepts joined by or when there is a different Boolean operator in the search. By using parentheses to control the order of your operators and key concepts, the database will be forced to group the terms the way you want them, not the way it defaults to ordering them. This is known as a nested search. Just like when you work out a math equation, the database will read what's inside the parentheses first, like peanut butter and jelly or spaghetti and meatballs. Parentheses and the OR operator go together, or combine similar terms, so that's what you put in parentheses. And if you ever get stuck, you can always check out the database help screens to see which rules they use for combining operators. You should now have a more advanced understanding of how to identify key concepts in a search topic, create alternate expressions for more comprehensive results, and combine key concepts with multiple operators. For a look at more Gumberg Library video tutorials, visit the Gumberg Library website and YouTube channel.
Now let's think more about how to find keywords for your web searches. As you saw, you'll need to know how to ask the search engine the right question. Again, typing "what are the engineering careers that make the most money" into a database to find sources on this topic may not always work. Instead, you might type "engineering careers and high salary." Another example, "why is human cloning banned in the United States?" is a question you might be researching. So to break that down, you'll look for important nouns and verbs. So what are these? You can see the words human, cloning, banned, and United States. So as you're writing out your research question, you can simply highlight or take a pen and underline those key nouns and verbs. So here we have human cloning, banned, United States. Rather than using the past tense of a verb, use the present tense. So here, human cloning ban and United States might be an example of how you can use the present tense of a verb. Now think for a moment. What keywords do you need to use when researching your topic? Now we'll start this tutorial by reviewing how to find the UA Library website. So once you're on the home page, you will see that there is a gold ribbon near the top of the page. And on the far right-hand side of that ribbon, you will see the word libraries. So you'll click there. I'm going to exit out of the PowerPoint to show you where you can find the UA Library website on our UA homepage. You can see here that I've opened a new tab in Google Chrome. Regardless of which browser you're using, you can still navigate to the University of Akron homepage using the same web address. So you'll go to uakron.edu. Then, as I mentioned earlier, you'll see toward the top of the homepage, there's this gold ribbon. On the very right-hand side, you'll see the libraries link. So this will link you to the home page of the UA Library website. So we'll click there. This is what you should see next. Now, looking at this page, you might get overwhelmed by the amount of information and links that are here. So at this point, I'm going to pause and I'll give you some step-by-step instructions for finding different sources and texts for research. As you saw, the University of Akron's library catalog is located online. However, you must be at the library in order to find any printed books you want. If you cannot find a book there, you can use OhioLink, search Ohio, or interlibrary loan. You can also ask a librarian if you are having trouble finding a specific book. Now, keep in mind that you can always request books to be delivered to specific locations so that you can pick them up. What I'll do now is show you how to navigate the library catalog, OhioLink, search Ohio, and interlibrary loan. Toward the end of the presentation, I'll explain how you can ask a librarian if you're having trouble finding a specific book. The first step for finding the UA Library catalog would be to click on the link that says catalog Another option is to click on that UA Library Catalog button that you see toward the top of the home page, just above that search bar. So when you click on the UA Library Catalog button, you'll get a quick search that should allow you to simply enter the keyword that you want to search with. You can also select title, author, or subject, depending on what source you're looking for. And this will allow you to search the UA Library Catalog quickly. Now, if you'd like some advanced options for searching the catalog, you'll click on Catalog just underneath that search bar. Once you're here, you'll have some options for beginning your search. You will notice that there is a drop-down menu near the top of the search bar. Like I showed you before, depending on what you're looking for, you'll either select keyword, title, author, or subject. For our purposes, you'll test out the keyword search. You'll then enter your search terms in the box that says Enter Search Terms. So, as an example, I'll put a very broad query in this box. Then, before you click Search, you'll want to select the collection you want to view. You'll do this by clicking on the drop-down menu that says View Entire Collection. So from here, you can select the specific collection that you want to view. So for Bierce Library, you can select Bierce, or if there's a particular collection in which your source is located, such as Bierce Course Reserves, Bierce Curriculum Center, Bierce Media Services, or Bierce Reference, you can narrow this collection by clicking one of these options. You also can choose from the Law Library, the Science Library, Wayne College Library, Archival Services, Psychology Archives, Video, and Electronic Books. Depending on your location and your comfort with visiting the library in person, you might want to select a collection that allows you to view the sources quickly online. So you might consider selecting electronic books, video, or sometimes Bierce will have ebooks. So for our purposes, we'll view the entire collection in this tutorial. Now, you can narrow your search further by selecting Advanced and Other Searches. Here you'll see an Advanced Search Terms box and an Other Searches box. You can play around with these options later. For now, I'll go back to the main catalog search page. You can see some keyword search tips below. Toward the bottom of the page, you'll see the Report a Problem button. Once you're ready, you'll click that Search button. Now, you'll have some options once you've started your search. You can scroll down to view each of your results. Then you can click on different hits to see more information about that particular source. Depending on what kind of source it is, you can save it to your bag to look at it later. You will see an option to submit a request for a book if it appears in print. So if you'd like to request a book, you'll click Request. Then, once you log in and submit your username and password, you'll be taken to a request form. From here, you'll choose a pickup location. So depending on the specific book that you want, you can select either Bierce Library, Bierce Curbside, Wayne Curbside, or Home Delivery. Once you've selected that location where you want to pick up the book, you'll click Submit. For electronic items, you can click on the Connect button to open the source. So there'll be times where you'll need to select your institution to get into the source. So from here, I'll select the University of Akron and the main campus branch. You'll then need to put in your information. So I'll put in my last and first name. and then you'll enter your student number. Now from here, you can see that you can browse the ebook either by looking in the table of contents on the left-hand side or going up to the search bar to put in a keyword to search this book. If you are looking for a specific book that isn't available in this catalog, you can click on the Ohio link or Search Ohio buttons. In cases where you've already entered the search terms you want, you'll see the results of that same search when you click the Ohio link button or the Search Ohio button. The functionality of the search engine matches the UA library catalog closely, but it may look different than what you saw earlier. However, you'll have the same options for modifying your search, saving items to view later, connecting directly to items by clicking on electronic resources, starting over, or going back to the home catalog. So for Search Ohio, again, you'll see that it's very similar to Ohio link. You can request an item, save an item for later, or if you click on the title of something that is a book, you can see a permanent link. You can see here that you can modify your search, begin a new search by clicking this button or clicking the Start Over button. I'll show you what happens when you click on Modify Search. So from here, you can limit the location, the material type. For our purposes, we'll select ebooks. You can even filter by language, year, publisher, and so on. You'll see some search tips over here in the right-hand side of this box. So you consider using these search tips if you're not finding the sources that you want. So once you've completed your advanced keyword search and limited your options, you'll click Submit. So to view an ebook, you'll simply click on the title of the book. And then you can see a link to connect to the title online. Then from here, you can select Borrow, and then continue to register for a library card. So if you find that you cannot find something in the UA Library Catalog, Ohio link, or Search Ohio, you can use the Interlibrary Loan System. Please note, you should use this system only if you can't find what you want in the previous catalogs. So from the library homepage, you'll click on the link that's titled ILL. This stands for Interlibrary Loan. You'll see more information about how to use this system once you click here. You can then scroll down to see more information. Again, you can see that you'll want to check the UA Libraries catalog, Ohio link, or Search Ohio before making a request. This is a free service for all students engaging in research of book titles, journal articles, theses, and dissertations. As part of the Interlibrary Loan Service, we borrow materials that are not available, checked out, lost, or missing in the UA Libraries catalog, Ohio link, or Search Ohio. So you can see direct links to those previous catalogs that I showed you a moment ago. For additional information about interlibrary loans, you can visit the FAQ LibGuides page. So if you click here, you'll get more information about interlibrary loan. So you can see here that there is contact information for a library professional who put together this library guide. So in cases where you have questions about interlibrary loan, you may contact her by clicking on the Email Me button. You can also see contact information through phone, or you can go visit Bierce and go to 152B. Once you're ready to log into the interlibrary loan page, You can navigate to the general loan page, or if there's a specific material you're looking for in a law library, you'll want to look at the law library interlibrary loan login page. So for our purposes, we'll go to the general loan page. You'll be prompted to log in using your UANet ID and password. Then from here, you'll be taken to the user portal. So if you've requested an item, you'll usually see that it is saved here, either by saved searches or when the request is completed, you'll see it here. So since I haven't requested any items, I can begin a search. So you can do a basic keyword search to find the specific source you're looking for. Or some other options are to go through advanced search or click on resources. You can go to the resources homepage, ask a librarian, or return to your interlibrary loan account. So in your account, which you can access from the right-hand corner of the screen in the portal, you can see requested items, saved lists, and saved searches. You can also import your list based on your UA library catalog information. So you can view instructions about how to import your list, but for our purposes, I'll show you what happens when you do a keyword search. So we'll do our broad search here again. Now from here, you'll see a view that looks like this. So on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see some options for refining the search. So you can sort by different collections or by author, date, most widely held, so the most popular, and title. You can then select group-related edition or expand search with related terms. Now, as you scroll down, you'll see other options for limiting your results. So one option is selecting libraries worldwide or the University of Akron. So this indicates where you can find the source. Then you'll see options for limiting your search by format. So here we have article or books. And from there, you can even narrow it down to article, chapter, and downloadable article. Or if you're looking at books, you can look for a print book, ebook, and so forth. You can also see archival sources, video sources, visual materials, images, audiobooks, computer files, encyclopedia articles, journal magazine articles, internet resources, and you can show fewer options by clicking on that link, and it will collapse the view. You can also sort by content type. For example, you might select articles that are peer-reviewed or open access. Then you can also sort by publication year or create a custom year range in the search boxes. So we could enter a range such as from 2010 through 2020, and then click Apply Year Range. You'll see that your results are updated based on that range. You can even modify it further by selecting information about the author-creator, subject, specific databases, for our purposes, for looking at worldcat.org, language, and audience. So in reference to audience, you can select juvenile, meaning youth, or for children, or not juvenile. So the opposite of juvenile would be adults, not children. Once you find a source that you're interested in reviewing, you'll want to click on it to view more information about it. So here you can see that this is in the University of Akron catalog. You can see a location and other institutions where the same source is available. You can then click to view a description, which will give you a detailed record, and then explore editions and formats. So you can see that there is an ebook version of the same text. So you can request the print book, or you can simply click here to go to the ebook. So at any point, if you would like to cite, link, email, or save the source, you can click on these buttons to do that. Now, once you've found the source that you want, or to create a request, you'll simply click Create Request. Now, you'll notice that there are different choices based on what you're looking for. So you can create a request for an article, a book chapter, or a book loan. So please note, you may have 100 active interlibrary loan requests. You will be unable to submit more requests upon reaching this limit. So you'll want to check to make sure how many active interlibrary loan requests that you have and how many that you are limited to. So you can see that there are different fields that are required as you create the request. So for articles, you'll want to make sure to fill in the journal title, page numbers, and the title of the article. The other fields are optional. So depending on what you have found in the detailed record of the source, you can enter all the information you have. Then, in the Where Did You Learn About This item, you can explain briefly in 500 characters where you found the source. Then, as you go on, you'll see information about your request. So, you can see under Service Type, there's a drop-down menu. So, depending on what you'd prefer to do, you can receive a copy of the article or request a loan to get a printed version of that text. Then you'll want to select the needed before date. So you'll want to plan your time to make sure that you are getting the materials before you are using them for the assignment. You can also indicate your reason for your request, which is optional. So you can indicate that this is a resource for a class assignment. You can add other comments as necessary. Then toward the bottom, you'll see your address and contact information. So from here, you'll notice that once you've logged in, all of your information will be filled out here. And so you'll want to indicate or change this information if any of it is not current. You can see that this form is very similar for a book chapter or a book loan. But then you'll click through to make sure that you have filled out all the required fields for that specific form. Now, once you're ready, you can submit your request. If at any point you want to change your mind, you'll click Cancel. Now that you've seen how to find different book sources, we'll continue on to see other types of sources you can find. So, you can find government web documents in the UA Library Federal Depository. So, if you want to navigate to this quickly, you can type the following address in your web browser: http://www.uakron.edu/libraries/gov-docs. So that's period, DOT. So I would recommend using ProQuest to do searches, but you can use other resources offered by the document librarians. So I'm going to back out of the PowerPoint and show you how you can find ProQuest Congressional from the UA Library's homepage. So, from the UA Library's homepage, you want to scroll down to find the symbol of a crest with an eagle and red book in the middle. You can see that there is a bit of text about the Federal Depository Library Program. So you can click that Learn More link to go to the Federal Depository. You can find a detailed library guide about government information by clicking on the Start Here link in the Welcome section. For our purposes, I will continue showing you what's on this Government Documents page. Once you find the section titled About this collection, you'll see a link to ProQuest Congressional. While you can see other government databases in the LibGuide that I pointed you toward earlier, the ProQuest Congressional search engine is a fine place to start. Now that you're here, you'll want to decide which kinds of publications you want to see. Since you're new, you can scroll to see categories of information relevant to your subject. You can see that there are direct links to go into different parts of the ProQuest Congressional database. For example, if you're interested in legislative histories, you can look at Legislative Insight. This provides compiled histories with full-text PDFs and tools to facilitate research into the legislative histories of U.S. statutes. So you can click to go to Legislative Insight. You can also search for a member of Congress in the box just underneath the Legislative Insight link. Then, moving toward the middle, you can read our congressional profiles to gain an understanding of the historical context of each congressional term, including an overview of party division and leadership, economic conditions, conflicts, major laws, landmark Supreme Court cases, and major events. So to look more into this type of information, you can browse Congress in context. Then, as you're looking for bills, if you have a bill number or another type of citation for a government document you would like to look up, you can search by the number. You can also see information about nonpartisan Congressional Research Service reports. So these are great starting points for research on a variety of topics, past and present. Reports often provide pro and con positions, overview, statistics, and analysis. Then, at the very bottom right, you can explore hearings to find differing perspectives on the issues of the day as congressional committees take testimony from a wide range of individuals to inform decisions on legislative proposals or investigative proceedings. So you can search for hearings by clicking on that Search Hearings link. So as you go back toward the top of the page, you'll be able to search for congressional publications, members and committees, regulations, and news and social media. Regardless of which place you begin in ProQuest Congressional, you'll apply the same keyword strategies as with the library catalog. Note, if you're on the main ProQuest Congressional page, you can see tips for advanced searches and find terms just underneath the Congressional Publications search bar. So if you click Find Terms, you'll be able to select subject terms and search for those using your keyword search or browse categories. You can see here that I'm in the Browse Categories window, which you can filter by subject, issuing sources, serial set map terms, or popular names. So as you're finding terms, you can paste a search, clear your selections, or hit Cancel. You can also find Help just above the button to close the window. Now, I'll go back into the PowerPoint to remind you of some other databases you can use to find text for your upcoming research assignment. Well, you can find information about news and media on ProQuest Congressional. As you saw, there are other places to find periodicals. So, you may remember, or this may be new to you, that periodical is an adjective that refers to a magazine or newspaper. While this may be very obvious to some of you, you'd be surprised at how many times this happens. You'll want to cite only one article at a time. Do not cite the entire newspaper or magazine. So, you'll be able to find newspaper or magazine articles using the UA Library Catalog. So you can go back to see how to find a book source. You can filter your search by different source types. Then, as I mentioned earlier, you can also use ProQuest Congressional News and Social Media page. You can also go through the UA Library databases and search databases by title or search databases by subject. So very briefly, I'll draw your attention to some different research databases for periodicals. From the UA Library's homepage, you'll click on the Guides and Databases button just above that search bar. Then, you can click on Subject Guides. Later on, you can take a look at databases by title and databases by subject. You may also consider looking through the eReserves and eJournals search tabs. Since we are looking at newspapers and magazines specifically, we'll look at the subject. You can see that there are several subject guides here for you to choose from. Since we're looking at newspapers and magazines, we'll narrow the subject guides down to communication. So once you're in the drop-down menu for the subject guides, you can scroll to find communication. You can see how you might choose a subject guide based on your specific research topic, but we'll use communication as an example. From here, once you've selected your subject, you'll click Go. Now, from here, you'll select News Writing. This will give you databases for newspapers. So you'll click on News Writing to open the guide. This is what you should see next. From here, you'll click on the News Sources tab near the top of the guide's homepage. You'll then see a table with 3 columns. Although you can check out local and regional sources in the middle column, as well as current news sites in the far right column, we'll focus on news databases on the far left-hand side. You can click on either of these links to navigate to the databases specifically for news writing. America's News focuses on local and national news in the United States. You might also find information about some world news outlets. But in cases where you want to find text from several international newspapers, you can use Newspaper Source. We'll look at America's News first. When you look at the America's News homepage, you'll see several links and related pages here. Depending on what you're looking for, you can click on Hot Topics to see current events, look through special reports by month, or topic and view all the special reports in the collection by scrolling down and selecting View All Special Reports. So depending on your subject, you may find that there is a special report category that discusses your specific topic. Then you have other options for finding information as you're browsing this page. You can click Find a Topic to find articles sorted by topic. So when you click here, you will see a page that looks like this. So from here, you can enter any keyword such as name, event, or topic in that search bar near the top of the home page. You can also select more search options, date search, or map search. Then, as you scroll down, you'll see suggested topics here. So depending on your specific research topic, you may be able to find something in particular that relates to your subject. We'll look at social issues as an example. So you can see that there is a crime issues section that talks about gun control. Similarly, you can see other health issues, technology issues, teen issues, women's rights, family issues, education issues, communication and information issues, and civil and human rights issues. Some other quick links you can use are for special reports. Again, these are current and retrospective news articles and images organized to easily examine key global issues and events, people, and important monthly themes. You can also click on Hot Topics. Again, this is current research topics covering key global issues, events, and people about business, economics, crime, politics, science, health, sports, the arts, and more. You can also use the other quick links to find specific publications such as the Cincinnati Post, Akron Beacon Journal, Columbus Dispatch Collection, and others. You can also scroll down the page to access world news collections. You can see that this comprehensive news collection is ideal for exploring issues and events at the local, regional, national, and international level. So you can find print and online-only newspapers, blogs, newswires, journals, broadcast transcripts, and videos. You can use it to explore a specific event or to compare a wide variety of viewpoints on topics such as politics, business, health, sports, cultural activities, and people. Content is easily searched and sorted through an intuitive map-based interface. So you can see several search shortcuts here, a number of which were available when you went to find a topic. So again, you can see that there is USA, Ohio, USA, world, ethnic sources, major metro titles. So these would be major city titles, and then specific local titles. And you can see that there's an America's News Magazines link. So if you're looking for articles in magazines, you might consider clicking on this shortcut to do that. Then you'll notice that in the middle of this homepage, you'll see a Redex All search. So if you want to search across all of the available collections, including newspapers, books, pamphlets, government publications, and more, you'll click on that Redex All search link. To search for older articles, you can select the Archive of Americana section, which includes America's historical imprints. So you can find early American imprints. This would be Series 1, Evans, 1639 to 1800. Early American imprints, Series 2, Shaw to Shoemaker, 1801 to 1819. So this may or may not be useful to you as you're thinking about Major Paper Assignment 2 or any of the other assignments in this course. However, you may find that some of the information is useful, not only for this class, but for other research that you'll do in the future. You'll also see that there's a World Newspaper Archive that includes articles from Latin American newspapers. So these are more than 35 19th and 20th century Latin American newspapers. These are featuring titles from Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Cuba, Guatemala, Mexico, Peru, Venezuela, and elsewhere. If you can't find something in America's news, you can click on Newspaper Source. As I mentioned earlier, this provides cover-to-cover full text access to many U.S. and international newspapers. Like most of the databases you've seen so far and that you'll look at as you begin researching, you would begin by entering your keywords. You'll see a few different boxes and some drop-down menus that say select a field, optional. Here you can limit your search by text, which would be all text, author, title, subject terms, geographic terms, abstract or author supplied abstract, the ISSN number, ISBN number, journal name, or accession number. Again, you can see this is optional. So if you prefer, you can enter your keyword search here. So you'll notice that depending on the specific query that you are entering, in other words, the series of terms that you're putting into one search, you can add fields as necessary by clicking that plus button toward the bottom right-hand corner of the search bar. And as needed, you can remove those fields by clicking the minus button. Now, as you scroll down, you'll see some different advanced search options. So you can use search modes and expanders to limit or broaden your search. You can click to apply related words, click to also search within the full text of the articles, or apply equivalent subjects, in other words, other topics or subjects that relate to what you're searching. Then you can limit your results by clicking on Available Online, selecting a publication date and range. Click to select only scholarly or peer-reviewed journals or cover story. You can also sort by typing in the name of the publication, selecting the publication type, or the document type. Now, if you'd like to have a PDF full text of each of the different sources you find, you'll select PDF full text. This will allow you to view and download the text without necessarily having to go through another login. I'll use that broad search term again. Once you're ready, you'll click Search. Once you're here, you can scroll through the hits to see different sources. Then, to look more closely at a result, you can click on the title to see a detailed record. So in just a moment, I'll explain to you what you can do as you're looking at the detailed record. For now, I'll go back to show you where you can limit your results to refine which kinds of sources you can see. So, as I mentioned earlier, you can perform an advanced search to limit the results that you end up seeing in the search results pane. But you can limit the specific results by going into the Refine Results left-hand navigation panel. So from here, you can limit your source to only include sources available online, scholarly or peer-reviewed journals, or cover story. You can also narrow the publication date by clicking on the sliding rule bar and then narrowing the date down to something more current, if that is your preference. You can also refine by clicking on these collapsible items such as subject, publication, publisher, and language. Now you'll notice that for some of the hits, before you view the detailed record, you'll be able to click Full Text Finder or HTML full text. So once you've found something that you're interested in looking at further, you'll click on it, as I said before. Then you'll have some options for what you want to do once you're in the detailed record view. So you'll see on the far left-hand side that we're in the detailed record view. If you want to view the entire text, you'll click Full Text Finder to navigate to it. Now, depending on where the text is available, you can click the links to find the article in a related database, such as Factiva Academic. You'll get additional instructions if, for example, you'll need to access via a virtual private network. You'll be able to click on the icon to see instructions for that. So you can also see other places where you can find the full text of the article. So if you click any of these links and you find that you cannot load the full text, you can request this item through interlibrary loan, which I showed you earlier. So if you click the request this item, you'll be taken back to the interlibrary loan login. And here you can see that the request is filled out here. So you can add more information as necessary, but you'll want to check and make sure your address and contact information are up to date, as I mentioned earlier. So if you'd like to verify the information in the source or learn information about the author of the article, you have some options for searching for more information via the web. So you can click to search for more information on this title in Google Scholar, or there's a second link to search for more information on this author in Google Scholar. So I'm going to go back to show you what else you can do once you're in the detailed record view. So you can scroll down to find more information about the source, including the main publication, subjects and abstract, the ISSN number, and the accession number. So you can save this information by clicking the Save button in the toolbar on the right-hand side of the page. So you can see that Save is just one tool here. You can also click on Google Drive to save this search to your Google Drive folder. You can also create a folder within your database account to save it to that folder. You can also click Print to print the detailed record. So you can select different details as far as what you want to print from the detailed record. You can also click Email to send an email to someone, whether that's yourself or if you wanted to share it with someone else in the class. You can select Email. Then you'll want to type the email to and separate each email address with a semicolon. Here you can enter a subject, comment, and then select Send in plain text format. Now, as you want to save the link to a source, you'll want to select the permalink button. So regardless if you have saved or emailed the link to yourself, please note that links can change over time, especially as databases' detailed records are updated. So to get a permalink to the specific source, you'll click permalink. So you'll see that the link is generated toward the top of the screen. So you'll want to save this link by selecting it and copying it. I would recommend using a permalink, especially if you're going to post your specific source to the collaborative research pool. So I'll give you further instructions about how you'll post work to the collaborative research pool and why exactly you're doing collaborative research in the beginning. But for our purposes, you'll want to post links to different sources to our discussion forum on Brightspace. For now, I'll go back to remind you some other resources that you have available to you as you begin your research. So, as I mentioned earlier, you can find more library subject guides on the library homepage, or you can navigate to http://libguide.uakron.edu/sb.php?subject_ID equals 46570. You'll find that in our Brightspace page, you're going to see a version of this PowerPoint with hyperlinks. The UA librarians are always happy to answer specific questions about research. You can contact the library in the following ways: online chat, email, or phone. So you can find more information on how to contact the library by navigating to https://www.uakron.edu/libraries/ask.dot. So before we conclude, I'd like to remind you of some search questions and tips. Before you choose your sources, you will need to consider the following: your research questions, each of the source's topics, contents, and purposes, each source's credibility. So you'll want to confirm information using multiple sources, edited and reviewed by experts. Again, you saw that you can limit your search results to peer-reviewed or scholarly sources. This means that the information has gone through a peer review process in which an editor checks the information and verifies it before publishing it. Then, once you have found sources that you plan to use for research, you should download or print all web sources. As I mentioned earlier, while you can use a permalink to find information, you will notice that there are times when the link changes and you're not able to locate the source that you intended to use. So I recommend downloading or printing in those cases. For each source, you want to find relevant information first. In other words, author, publisher, date of publication, and so on. Then evaluate the source. You will put this information into a full citation for your major paper assignment 4, collaborative research documents, and essay references list. So, if you find that you still have questions about any of the information in this tutorial guide, you do have several resources to refer to. So the first is the APA Formatting and Style Guide. You can also refer to the UA Library's website, UA Library Catalog, UA Library Databases by Subject, UA Library Databases by Title, UA Library Frequently Asked Questions page, and the contact page for asking the librarian a specific question.